My name is Chungar Varga, and today, without any spoilers, we talk about why you should read Wen Chagong's Warlock of the Magus World. Warlock of the Magus World is one of the best dark fantasies out there. It has an amazing world building, and there are so much details around the core of magic, it makes you feel like it's almost real. It gives the vibe of a realistic, cruel, mad world where the strong rules over the weak, and to develop and ascend to the apex of this world, one needs to be a ruthless killing machine. At least that's the vibe I got from this book. Our main character is called Lylin, and he starts out as our usual sociopath isekai protagonist with an always evolving cheat. So, if these informations haven't managed to convince you yet to read it, I might as well tell you what makes this masterpiece really unique. Well, it is probably one of the best cultivation novels that you will ever read, or at least you will always remember this one. Despite the outcome of this novel, the main character is not always in control of his fate, which makes the reading experience much more interesting than the classic meta plottermore protagonist. You know, who can just walk into an army and declare war on them and just survive miraculously. Wow. No, this is not that type of book. At least not always. Well, it has some parts where he walks into an army and starts a massacre, but you know, everything at its time. So basically he has to adapt for his survival, and sometimes he has to just run away from stronger foes. And I really liked it, this part in this book. We have some nice plot twists that makes the writing consistent and always exciting. We get some Magus wars, political mind games, and of course some personal relationships with sexuality. But overall everything seems like just a phase for our main character, because his longevity makes him really neutral character, you know? Through the novel we slowly get information about the world and magic as our MC develops. It is often emphasized how some regions are worse than the others, and of course we start from the least developed region with the least resources, where everything is very scarce, and we end up at the top of the world. The reality is harsh right from the start, and a lot of people die from stupid mistakes, and everyone is just one from the many who thrives for their own self-interest. During expeditions and long-distance travels, we have the chance to appreciate the beautifully described wide variety of sceneries and ancient ruins. We get to look into the way of magic, which from crude and bloody rituals slowly changes and evolves into a very sophisticated and complex thing, which can make one stand above everyone else. Lylin likes to lay low and always tries to make the highest profits far from the highlights. But due to his evil, selfish nature, he still participates with made-up personas in crucial events, for example wars. He is also not afraid to abandon his plans when met with, a stronger foe. And usually he's not bothered with pointless revenge. I mean, if he has the chance to take revenge, he takes it, but he doesn't go out his way, just to massacre some random figures who were at the time his enemies or something. A true calculating, heartless and many times emotionless character. Not a saint, more like the devil himself. Enemies are always multidimensional, and every character has an objective and a life goal. Sometimes you even root against the main character. Everything has a point, and there are no unfinished storylines. And about The other characters, well, there are some really cool, and every time I talk with someone who read this novel and I ask them, who's the first character that comes to your mind after the main character? And everyone answers the same. Oh, do you remember the girl, Nissa, who was turned into like half a pig and had pus come out her orifices? Well, yeah, she's a character that you will remember. Okay. Well, poor Nissa. But in the end, one of the longest living characters. I don't think this is a spoiler. It's not so important from the point of the story. But yeah, we have some really awesome characters. We have some enemies. For example, I remember Beelzebub. He was really an iconic enemy, I think. And we have also some fancy female characters. So we also have the Snake Dovagor, who is literally a really great character in the book, I think, and has some twisted relationships with our main character. But I thought she was really badass, like Char, both of them. Really interesting. For those who are looking for a lot of emotions, drama, or huge character development in the sense of morals, I do not recommend this book because, well, we start out from a kind of neutral, a little bit selfish guy who goes through a phase where he's a little bit emotional, a little bit like he almost cares about anyone else besides himself, but in the end, we end in an absolute lawful evil character, and there's not much development in his personality. At least that's my opinion. But for those who seek a true dark fantasy with a badass heartless MC, who goes through everything, when he needs to, he kills everyone. Well, this is your jam. With this novel, basically, you can set a standard for yourself for future fantasies that you might read, because it's written so good. So, this is the end of this video. Please subscribe, and see you in the next one.